So we are all set. All right.
Good
Good
morning to
morning to
everybody.
everybody.
And
And
audio
audio
sounds
sounds
good,
good,
so
so
we'll go
we'll
ahead
go
and
ahead
get
and get
started.
started.
So,
So,
good
good morning.
morning to everybody. Happy November to all who are joining us. And as always, this is Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it's November 1st, 2021. So, as we like to start each and every week, we kind of take a peek into the SPX or the S&P 500 index, and we look at the expected move. The idea here being that we want an idea of what the option market is pricing for the week in regards to volatility. Have we expanded? Have we contracted? And then sort of combining that with our technical prowess in order to get a sense of, is the market going to continue? And if it does continue, what are some upside targets? So as always, I've gone ahead and drawn these expected moves for the week. What we're looking at currently is this week, approximately a 65-point expected move. And while the market did have a high of 46.08 last week, we closed at approximately 46.05. So with that expansion, we're looking at an upside of about 46.70 and a downside of 45.40. Remember, for those who have not seen this before, the best way to do this is on Friday, taking a look at the close and then looking at either over the weekend or once the option market is closed, simply noting what the expected move is for the following week. So you can see here on the November 5th series, we're looking at that 64 to 65 point move. I went ahead and rounded up to 65 to make the numbers a little easier to digest. So what makes this interesting is over the past couple of weeks, we have been seeing a market that is willing to push into its topside expected move pretty much each and every week. So on this bullish recovery of the S&P, every single week, if you had simply bought the S&P and targeted the upside of that expected move, you would have had 3 profitable sort of trades. And that scenario has played out quite well throughout this sort of volatile correction. So we see this upside here. We actually saw a bit of a breach on this week. And then last week was our third upside sort of test, that ability for the market to basically navigate to the edge of that upside. And in the case of the option market, not really seeing a lot of downside fear or even an attempt to move back to the downside of that expected move, not even traversing that entire range. So overall market has been very strong. And on this recovery, it's more notable if we look at the SPY and simply look at our monthly chart. Now, ignoring all of our sort of shorter term nut lines, we note that the monthly chart puts in sort of that engulfing structure. What's a little concerning, of course, is the fact that the market continues to remain in a bit of an elevated state. The longer time frame perspective here is one that has pulled away from any sort of nominal or at least notional value in regards to our moving averages. And that expansion of range to the upside continues to push this market higher. So our monthly is showing the engulfing. Our weekly, of course, was a nice back test of the 20 period. We have seen this before on the SPY, albeit the daily 50 was sort of our shorter term guide for that upside trend. And that, of course, was breached as we got into a deeper correction. And now as we look at our daily, we can simply see that the market has done that full 100% retracement back to the upside. Now, last week was a bit of an interesting week. We had a lot of our main tech earnings. Those are basically in the past. They are history at this point. And the reaction from those stocks, along with some of the interesting run-ups into earnings and the eventual sort of adjustment with that information out to the market was a lot of, I would say, additional volatility for us to take advantage of. Our last two names actually reported on Thursday. And what makes this more interesting is some of the earnings for these two stocks were actually a bit poor. Apple, more notably, missing on some of its estimates, very rare occurrence for Apple, and citing some supply chain issues for future guidance. Basically, sort of a short to medium term issue in regards to being unable to provide consumers with their products due to these constraints. But as always, we're looking at what does the market think? And the market had an interesting sort of behavior on Friday. If you joined us in the Bear Bull chat room, one of the things we've been talking about sort of on and off is the idea of markets gravitating towards certain strike prices during the Friday expiration. And Friday, since we had a lot of earnings volatility, some of these option pinning strategies actually played out quite well because the option market is very much in play on these stocks. They've had their earnings, but a lot of people are either taking profit or simply moving the risk around based on the information. And that can sort of lead the market to transact at these key levels. For Apple, it was approximately 149 to 150. 150 is more of a notional level for Apple, very key inflection point. And 149 was the max pain for the week. You know, $1 to $2 inside of Apple, you could put up some earnings spreads and take advantage of that movement. Another stock that had a similar sort of downside move, missing on earnings, having some issues with providing some of the guidance in regards to supply chain issues, but market overall still gravitated higher. And that, in my personal opinion, is partially due to what goes on in the option market. So Amazon showing about a 33.80 max pain on Friday and 33.50, a bit of a notional level in Amazon. You'll notice that the market actually gravitated to these two price levels and dampened throughout the afternoon session. This one right here. I was looking at Thursday, dampened near these price levels. And then, of course, the sort of final afternoon rally that we saw in the market overall, pushing us to that 33.80. You'll actually see that we closed in after hours right at 33.80. So just showing that this is a possible viable option or strategy for us to use as traders. And there was a few other stocks we even noted earlier in the week, the likes of AMD putting in sort of that short-term topping action, and the price target on the pullback, at least for Friday, being about 120. That was not only met very well intraday, but if you will note here, the market actually gravitated towards this price level near the end of the session. We had sort of two attempts to breach and transact lower, and the market could not. So very interesting sort of analysis from last week. Now, moving into this week, all that's pretty much gone. Trades have either been executed or not. And looking ahead, what can we start to take advantage of for this week? Well, first and foremost, markets are at all-time highs. No matter where you look, outside of the Russell, still sort of trapped within its trading range for the moment, the markets have pushed into new territory and new price levels for us to sort of evaluate. The NASDAQ seeing a very strong rally into Friday's close, very significant sort of trend day near the highs. You can see that on the shorter term time frame. Nothing in regards to selling pressure, just pullback bias leading to new highs. And then our Dow as well, very similar to some of our, I would say, diversification in regards to what the SPY has, but those key 30 stocks in the Dow facilitating new all-time highs. What's interesting is the Dow actually printed its high a couple of sessions prior, and did not close at a new all-time high as of Friday. Countering that, of course, the IWM still trapped within its trading range, but we've talked through sort of a thesis play for the IWM moving forward. But all that aside, what's interesting about this week is mentioned inside of the scratch pad off to the left-hand side. So I've gone ahead and placed two dates, one historical and one this week. May 22nd, 2013, for those who maybe want a little bit of a history lesson into an event that occurred on this date. And at the time, we had a federal chair by the name of Ben Bernanke. This was the first ever mention and attempt to taper, basically to reduce bond purchasing from the Federal Reserve. Now, this was something that the market knew about early on, but this particular date is when the activity actually started. And what I'd like to do is use this anchor point and take a look back to see what did the market do and what sort of impact did this have for that year in regards to this particular event. Because as you can see, in this week, we do have an FOMC announcement, our Federal Open Market Committee. And on this day, or on this particular month specifically, we have been told by the Federal Reserve that they are going to begin the process of bond tapering. Assuming nothing has changed, we'll of course know on that particular date, then we need to anticipate that potentially occurring and understand what impacts it could have to the market. So let's start off simple and let's go to our SPY and shift it back approximately 10 years. Now, as you'll know, I've gone ahead and marked this area inside of the chart with a rectangle, and this is capturing the beginning of May in 2013 to the end of 2013, so December 31st. This is a weekly perspective, so keep in mind that these candles are capturing a full week of trading activity. Now, as I zoom in and just sort of evaluate this chart, we can see that the market was actually moving to all-time highs prior to this announcement. In fact, the first 2 weeks of May were fairly bullish. We actually had some new all-time highs. We were climbing higher and higher. You can see that we had never gotten into these price levels prior. And if I pull it up to a monthly, you can see that we actually breached previous highs in the month of 2012 to the year 2012 to 2013. So this being, of course, a financial crisis and that sharp drawdown for a couple of years. So very interesting time in the market. But as we get back into our sort of weekly time frame, we note that the market did have some volatility short term. As we get into May 22nd, the week of May 22nd, we can see that the market put in a bit of a short-term sell signal. Market actually drew down for a couple of weeks following this activity. And if we go ahead and just simply mark from an all-time high down to this swing low, we're looking at a decline of approximately 8%. So the market was a bit interesting in this time frame, as there was an event that occurred during this week, and that led the market to draw down. Now, moving forward, of course, the rest of the year was a bit bullish. We bottomed approximately 1 month later, and this bottom was never tested as the market continued to recover its trend. In this case, the 20 moving average using as a bit of a guide, we saw multiple connections to this moving average and ending the year pretty much at new all-time highs. I would argue, 1 or 2 weeks of volatility above. So SPY did see a bit of volatility. And as we shift into the NASDAQ, we get that same basic picture. We note here, my rectangle is not perfect. So expand that out. So beginning of May, May 22nd, 2013, the week of drawdown in the NASDAQ. Let's take our tool and just kind of see that the NASDAQ suffered approximately an 8% decline as well. So interesting sort of correlation between those two indices. They're obviously at different price levels and maybe even different sort of technical perspectives here, because if I pull it to a monthly, I look at this rectangle, I can see that the NASDAQ actually cleared the financial crisis highs earlier in 2011 to 2012. So SPY was actually just starting to breach those levels, whereas the NASDAQ was actually accelerating prior to. And as I shift back into that shorter time frame, once again noting that the NASDAQ continued to climb, closing near all-time highs at the end of the year. So what I'm trying to highlight here is we have a potential opportunity depending on our time frame. If you are short-term trading, and ultimately if you think that there may be some behavior similar to what occurred back in 2013, then there may be this drawdown. We might see the market take some profit and basically draw back into basically key moving average support, or just seeing a bit of a correction overall if the market is to repeat what it did back in 2013. Now, we're looking at indices here. We're looking at the equities market. What actually was affected by this bond tapering? Well, for that, let's go to our 10-year interest rate. You'll note here, once again, I've gone ahead and marked May to December 2013. Note how significant this reaction was. We have a market that actually bottomed in regards to interest rates for the year, and then saw a very steep incline for the rest of the year. We're talking about going from about 1.6% on the 10-year at the beginning of May and closing at about 3%. So we're seeing almost a doubling of the interest rates during this year. And of course, the event that sort of, and I would say maybe possibly facilitated this, occurred on that May 22nd timeframe. Also worth mentioning that this market was a bit reactive or proactive to that event, seeing a bit of a bid here in regards to preparing for the eventual tapering that was announced. That, of course, countered with the opposite effect. If we look at something like TLT, that same time frame, that steep decline. And while I didn't mark it on this particular index or this particular futures product, we can do that same activity here and just note this time frame. This is 2014. Shift that into 2013. Put it right around here. So this, of course, this is our futures products for the Treasury notes, the 10-year, and seeing that sharp decline. Also worth mentioning that we did have a sharp reaction near a significant low that was tested at the end of the year. So moving ahead, we're looking at a market that is trying to evaluate the effects of a potential tapering event. And we have a clear date that's been announced, of which, if nothing has changed, then we will know more on November 3rd, 2021. We also have some historical precedents. This is the basic idea behind this sort of pre-analysis prior to the event. What did the market do whenever a similar event occurred in history? And is there some advantages that we can take an opportunity for if we see those same signals? We know that the overall equities market did see a bit of a decline for about a month. And then we, of course, bottomed in that time frame, leading to new all-time highs. the bond market saw a steep decline. And if you are looking to take advantage of that, you can go into some possible short plays with the TLT. You can also be looking at the TBT, bit of an inverse, and this of course has some beta regarding it, but you can look to maybe take advantage of a possible long position inside of something like this, basically anticipating the same reaction by the market. So some possible short to medium term plays depending on how things shake out this week. Additionally, depending on how you're positioned in different areas of the market, you may also want to look at the sectors that are affected most by interest rate volatility. Something like financials back in 2013, same basic approach here. We're looking at the date of the event, the short-term sort of volatility. In this case, this market did draw down, and financials are quite sensitive to interest rates. So that is notable. This market was not saved by rising interest rates during that time. It actually did see a correction. But just like the rest of the equities market, we pulled down to a notable area. We climbed higher throughout the rest of the year, and we actually closed at highs. Energy, same idea. Short-term volatility, seeing that May 22nd event, drawdown, climbed higher, closing near all-time highs near the end of the year. Or I think this one's actually relative highs. Yeah, this is relative highs. This one actually saw more bullish activity in 2014. And what about tech? We know that tech is also sensitive to interest rates, and that price multiple compression that can occur in a market that is trying to adjust riskless or basically the baseline for risk in the market. Are we in risk on or risk off environments? Does this sector suffer the same decline? Go here, shift it back to our weekly to get a better sense of the volatility. Same idea, short-term volatility to the downside, actually drawing down to the 50 in this case. And this drawdown, at least from high to low, was approximately that 7 to 8% as well, actually seeing a bit less of a decline than the overall equities. And then, of course, climbing to new highs throughout the rest of the year. So putting this into perspective, what can we do to start to prepare? Well, we can look at volatility. Let's see what the VIX did in that same time frame. As we shift into 2013, we can see that in May, and starting a bit earlier, volatility was actually starting to slowly climb higher. We bottomed out about a week prior, and then over the next couple of weeks, as the market was correcting, there was a volatility event. We did see a bit of a spike in the VIX. So depending on how you like to hedge, and if you even think you need a hedge at this point in time, the VIX, or using VIX options, volatility futures, volatility products, or even just placing some sort of downside bets inside of the equities market, the understanding that we're looking for that same correction, all of these can be possible trade ideas. And of course, we're looking at time frame as well. Understand that this is not a 1 to 2 day trade. This downside correction took a month in the time frame of May to June 2013. So if we see that same time frame cycle, understand that we can have volatility expansion for at least a month if we're looking at the exact same time frame and just I would say aggregating it or extrapolating to our current date. So all that said, this is what the market is going to likely be focused on for this week. We, of course, are still in the midst of earnings. So as I shift into our calendar, just look at November here and maybe filter on our key indexes. As we look at the S&P 100, we're looking at some more stocks coming out with earnings. Tuesday, likes of Pfizer, Amgen, Mondelez, bit of energy plays with Conoco and DuPont. Wednesday, seeing these names report, bit more energy, bit of real estate and some financial insurance. And then let's see, Berkshire, pretty interesting coming out on Saturday. This is always the case with Berkshire. They're one of the few companies to report on the weekend. So market still has some volatility pricing in with some of these key stocks. No matter where you look, there's going to be trade opportunities. But amidst all of that information, there's going to likely be a volatility event coming up in regards to what is announced on Wednesday. So look at your risk. Use this time to evaluate whether you need downside or upside protection, depending on what you expect from this announcement. And basically, if you see the same signals, we can expect the same type of reaction. Markets like to do similar patterns, similar cycles. And ultimately, if we see the same event, do not be surprised because we have historical precedent. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market. We'll probably spend the week looking at a few ways to take advantage of what we're seeing from that Wednesday event. But in the short term, there's a lot of upside gappers this morning. We have a lot of sort of new and refreshed interest in alternate energy, solar, EVs, and different companies are seeing that volatility throughout the intraday sessions. Obviously, we've been looking at Lucid as of late, going through a bit of a gamma squeeze that started with Tesla and the post-earnings reaction. And now some of these other companies are seeing that same interest. So focus in on what's in play throughout the intraday session, but understand that all of that can be sort of superseded by the market as a whole. And when we see that eventual reaction to Wednesday's event, be prepared for it. The best way to move forward is to have preparation before the event occurs, basically to do your homework now, to prepare with hedging now, if needed. And from that point, you can move into that event with confidence. And if you do not see the same reaction by the market, then ultimately you can start to unwind or just prepare for the opposite effect. So with that said, stay tuned for pre-market prep, trade safe, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Premarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hope you had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today? Oh, I can't hear you, brother. Let me just make sure it's not on my end.
No, it's me.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm good. I'm tired like every other parent in this country this morning.
Yes.
Um, but other
Absolutely.
than that, I'm doing well, thanks. The kid was on the struggle bus today.
That is so funny. You guys know, I have a 2 month old. My brother has a 1 month old, and we always talk to each other saying, how you feeling today? You're like at least 40, 50%, because you're never 100% like on
No,
sleep. It just
no.
doesn't happen. Not at least until they get, a lot older. And even then, I don't think you get any sleep. Um, but yeah, guys, let's let's get to it. Today we have a very, very large gappers list on both ends, especially on the gap up part this morning. So a couple of names on here. Some we've seen in the past, some new ones that we have not seen at least recently, or at least they were not notable gap ups or down in the past. But we got a couple in there. On our down tickers, we have some here that we've seen quite a bit. Neo, BKKT, which makes a lot of noise the last couple of weeks. BTBT. So a couple on here that are on the gap down list. Looking forward to see what's going to happen here. As far as our SPY right now, guys, and we'll get into some of that with the market pulse. We are slightly up this morning. Norm, anything happening today and this week that's important?
Yes, actually. So today we have market manufacturing PMI. I can't even talk this morning. At 9:45, 10 a.m. We've got construction spending and ISM manufacturing index. Of importance, we are at all-time highs here on SPY, and this week, Wednesday, we will have the Fed announcement. They will be meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday and then announcing their policy decision on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, as they always do, followed by a J. Powell press conference half an hour later. So I think the market will be waiting to see what they do and what they say quite a bit. So we'll see how that goes. We do have a gappers list this morning. We chug on through earnings season and yeah, see how it goes.
Yep, should be another interesting week. Definitely was last week, guys, as we had some insane volatility, and hopefully that can continue on in this week as well. All right, let's get to it. Let's look at our gappers list this morning. Gapping up. Let's remove our watch list from Friday, and let's start.
CMTL is a
Yeah.
cash buyout.
Oh, thank you, man. So we'll skip on that one. No good, guys. And for those that don't know, I mean, this is just that type of catalyst. Doesn't trade well. Not catalyst, more of a
I
just
don't.
an event.
I'm
Yeah.
actually. I'm surprised it had the action that it did, but now it's just flat line and there's really no
hmm
volume going through it. So,
Yep. Yep.
um,
So no good there. NVST, we've seen this one before. This is up 8.7 this morning, 109,000 shares traded. Daily looks brutal, but we're getting a nice little breakout today. Pre-market action is not great. I don't think this is even worth
so
as a possible right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's gapped up a lot. I don't really
hmm
see any special news. Maybe somebody else has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's it had all that. It looks like all that. All huge chunk of the volume, half the volume, right, is on that one candle right at 8 o'clock when it's probably
hmm
settlements from previous day.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and it's only traded 100,000. I remind people our scanners are set. Our scanners were made years ago, and frankly, sometimes that 100,000 share volume doesn't fit today's times because there's just so much more volume being traded these days.
I agree. I agree. I think we should look into that, Nor. Maybe we want to put it 200. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It's a tough call because there are some stocks like
Yeah, I
Roku.
want to see it as I want to see it as
Yeah.
early as possible when it hits that. But at the
Right.
same time, it's just something to be mindful about. That just because
Mhm.
it's on the scanner doesn't mean it's worthwhile.
Right. Right. This is where you have to do a little more digging because again, there are some stocks that will hit at 150 that we know can trade very well. We want to be aware of those. So it's a tough spot when it comes to that. So we'll skip this one, guys. Doesn't look good right now.
I think we're gonna have
On
enough good
Yeah.
stuff to watch this morning.
I'm hoping so, man. On this morning, ON definitely up 8.8 this morning, 233,000. It's got some decent activity here. Looks pretty wild. It's not a low float, but man, this thing is cranking. As you can see here, low of 58, 59, I'm sorry, 49, high of around 50, 53. So can move. I don't see a lot of activity right now. It hopefully can get better. I'm going to put it on here as a possible. I'm hoping that can
Paid
get a little
earnings.
bit better. Yeah.
Paid earnings. They beat pretty well, and so they
Mhm.
might be in play. But this is one of the earlier semiconductors that companies that report, so it might throw
Mhm.
the others into play.
Gotcha. All right, we'll keep an eye on this one this morning. NVAX this morning, they are definitely active, guys, up 7.1. We're up probably about around 10 maybe or more here. 412,000 shares traded at the moment. They're breaking out of this 150 area. I know some of you guys like this one. I'll put it as a possible. Definitely in play this morning. Numbers look a lot better than we saw last week. They were also making some noise. Maybe today's a day where they can do something. Here is Hog, and again, this is Harley Davidson. They don't trade very well, guys. So I know they're up 7.4. Earnings, I assume, Norm, because these guys rarely
No,
get moving. No.
it's tariff news between the U.S. and EU.
Okay, yeah. Again, they don't trade very well, so I'm gonna skip on this one. OCGN this morning, they're gapping up 7.3. Again, these guys they're hit or miss. I mean, they're hit or miss. Let's put them on here. We'll come back to them. Let's keep them on there to continue to develop this morning. Ion Q, we saw them last week be a little bit active. This morning up 6.5, continuing their insane move here above E12. Right now we're sitting around $16. So this could be all right. What was the catalyst, Norm? You mentioned it last week on this one. They were despacking or something. I forget what it was, but they're definitely.
I can't remember, man. I've slept.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, man. We listen. We go through so many tickers. We're not gonna remember all this stuff. No way. No way. So, I'll keep this one on here. I'm not sure if it's let's put it on there. It's definitely in play, guys. Looking good this morning. Let's put an eye on Q. We'll put it on here. We'll come back to that one. Be Big. What's going on with Be Big this morning? What are they doing? They are pretty much flat on the daily. They're getting a little bit of a breakout here right now with some good volume, guys. 2.2 million. Again, I am not a big fan of this stock, Norm. I know you are not neither. But there's something going on here. I mean, we're getting 1 million candles right now on the 5-minute. So maybe worth putting as a possible. We'll come back and see what's the news there. Hitting down Lucid, we know that one has been very good to us, guys. We're going to add this one on here. Very active this morning, 7.8 million shares traded. So you got some serious volume happening there. We'll add that to the list. That is good. MMTR, no good there. XPEV, what's going on with these guys? XPEV looking to break out of this recent high here around 49. So that looks good. They got a good pre-market activity. They got great volume, up 4.3. I think they're worth taking a second look at. Let's take a look at NEO this morning, see if anything's happening in that camp. As XPEV is also making moves, and it does.
NEO reported the deliveries, and bueno, no bueno.
Yeah. They're not doing well. They're definitely down. So I wonder, why is XPEV reported anything, or it's just they're moving on?
XPEV, no, they both. So it's the first of the month. Auto deliveries come out. The companies report how many cars they delivered for the previous month. Chinese one always come in first because they're a day ahead. So.
There you go. NEO, guys, I'm going to put it here. NEO is definitely in play. That's a lot of volume there, guys. 2.7. We'll take a look at that. All right, I'm going to stop here. We got tons. I know you guys got some on your end that you guys want to share with me, so we'll stop on the gap up. Let's see the gap down this morning. BT today. They're down 16.4, but they had a huge move on Friday. So I don't know how much weight you want to put on a percentage like that when you had a huge move from $10 to $14, right? So you're kind of back at the top of this area where you're consolidating, having a tough time to getting above that. So not sure what to expect today. This could be a tricky one. It might just be quiet. Who knows? BKKT, for the most part, they're down 9.8 this morning, 844. This is 38 million share. Yeah, we'll put this on here, BKKT. We'll come back to that, see if anything's moving there. RVI this morning. RVI, no, remember the guys, this is one that had the huge drop last week. And the second day is usually not fun. And even after this drop, let's see how it traded. Probably was probably garbage. Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And this we kind of talk about this, guys. You might think, well, why did we take it off our list?
There's something to that drop. It's not just a drop like that, but this isn't a REIT anyway, so it's not even worth
Oh,
messing
yeah,
with.
it's not even worth talking about it. But you had such a big drop like this. You had moving the pre-market, then at the market open, you had nothing, right? And if it's a REIT, it's even worse. You're not going to get anything anyway. EQOS this morning, they had a big day on Friday, not doing a whole lot, down a little bit this morning. I don't see anything overly exciting on this one. Volume is not great. HUDI, no, this is pretty bad here as far as volume, pre-market, and everything else. No good there. AUPH, I think we traded this before in the past. They're down 4.1.
Yeah, we've talked about.
Yeah, I believe we have. Again, not great pre-market action. This can get better though. We've seen these guys trade very well in the past. Here's Neo. We have that one on deck. I do like to drop today. mRNA dropping this morning 2.7. Needs more volume though. GREE today, not a whole lot going on. There was so many stuff that went north on Friday that you're kind of getting a little bit of a second day pullback here this morning. Envis also not looking great. So yeah, we'll stop here. Norm, anything you like on your end?
I'm still looking. I'm going to throw out ABVC, although I will say it's extremely risky with like a 1.8 million share float.
ABBC?
VC. ABVC.
All right, ABVC. Here we go.
Yeah.
We are up 220%.
Yeah.
My oh my.
It's but that float, it's a tiny float, so
Yeah, I could see that. The flow
I don't
is,
know if it's worthwhile or not, but it's on the radar at least.
Yeah. Definitely is in play today, guys. I mean, look at this thing. AVBVC. Right, so we'll put that on there. 9.5 up 220%. Definitely rocking this morning. Any news, Norm, on this or just
I'm not
madness?
seeing anything as of this
Yeah.
morning, but I'm sure there's something. I just haven't found it. This one just popped up on my radar, so.
Gotcha. Popped up on Norm's low flow under $5 million radar, which is pretty good. Here we go. We'll see what happens there. Guys, let's take it to the room. We'll start with Jonathan. Yep, Norm gave us that one, so that's good. D Miles, good morning. Low flow. Oh, yeah, he is the GOAT. Yeah, I agree. David, David from Connecticut, you're giving us plug this morning. Let's take a look there. Plug, my friend. Let's see what we have. Plug here. Plug looks good today. Yeah, this looks good. Daily has been on fire. We saw a couple of amazing days on Thursday and Friday. That has been good. Look at the breakout that we got here. It's just incredible. Yeah, I like Plug today. I'm going to put them on here. They're definitely strong. Let's see if this strength is going to continue into this week. This pre-market action already up nicely at 4%. Thank you for that one. David, let me see here. Edwin, giving us Plug. Yeah, we got that one. That's good. Fabio, you're giving us a few. I'm going to take your first two, Mara and Apple. We'll take those two. Mara this morning. Yeah, I see the Bitcoin is like they're making some little bit of noise. They're up slightly, but I don't see anything great like on Mara right now. And also we looked at BTBT. There's nothing too crazy at the moment, right? So I'm not going to add those just yet. Apple, I think, would be a good one for this week. I think Apple is going to be a good one to keep an eye on. Might not be a main list, but definitely a secondary list. We'll have to see how this plays out. Their daily has been, again, just slamming up against that 150, right? We had a little bit of a swing action based on their earnings, which just look at this drop here. Did they recover? We'll see. The next couple of days will be interesting for Apple. See how they pretty much are flat after earnings, right? Pretty much are flat. This was the day right before earnings. This was after earnings, and they were just back in the same area. So nothing has really changed for them. We'll see how that's going to play out into this week. But I like that one this morning. AMD right now. AMD, nice little range towards the downside. Again, we had these very interesting candles here. And the last two trading days have been in the red. So trying to stay pretty flat right now. I think this is another possible. But we know that our friends are going to be watching this one. They'll call out. They see something on there. Interesting. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is definitely in play, guys. I mean, look at Tesla right now. Making new highs. Pre-market here is sitting at what? 1,158 with 50 cents. So that is your Tesla all-time highs right now. Just insane, guys. Great volume. 1.4 million shares traded.
Sorry.
I'm gonna, good, my friend. I'm gonna remove the bottom of some of these levels. Let's put this here again. There we go. Very clean chart. You do not need to add anything else. All set for you there. Tesla is in play, guys. I'm gonna add this on here. I just, for me, I don't know how clean it'll be to trade now, right? This price target is a little bit out of my comfort zone. 3 digits, 4 digits, whatever. We'll have to see. we'll have to see how it goes. All right, let's see here. BKKT, we do have that one. We'll take a second look at that down the line. Thank you, Jonathan, Barge Guy, and also who else? Everybody's giving us the BKTT. So yeah, we got that one. That's good. Heading down. Let's see here. Be big, we have on deck. Jared, are you in that? All right, so Jared is trading Be big already this morning, so he is in on this. He's got some out at 550. All right, so he got in on this breakout, pretty nice. Excellent trade there. Tesla is good. We have that one. Gator, thank you very much. BTTX. Oh, is that a different one? BTTX, that's different.
BTTX different.
All right, let's see here. What do we got going on? 57%, 1.5 million shares traded. Let's take a look at the float on this bad boy. We're looking at it's not populating for me just yet on trade ideas, maybe because it's just wacky. Look at this daily, guys, very wacky. So I don't got no float on this just yet, but just looking at the price action, it doesn't matter. It's got to be on your risky pile anyway. This thing is moving through the dollars like nothing here. So I'm going to put it under BTTX. Guys, very, very careful with this thing. I don't know what's going on, but look at the range you're getting here. You know, you almost have a $15 range on this thing, or 14, whatever it is. Just be careful with this stuff. And yeah, just be very careful. I'll put it on here just to see what the madness all about. But be very, very, very careful with that one. All right, heading down, guys. We might stop here. Yeah,
let's stop order flow either. I'm watching BTTX and there's no orders going through.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Through like every 10 seconds. It is spready. Be careful with that, guys.
Yeah, the flow is not great. This has to get a whole lot better at the market open. But right now, definitely, I don't see how you would trade this. Also, it doesn't look great, the pattern right now to go long, because well, we don't have any shares for sure, but it doesn't look great at all at the moment. So careful with that one. All right, here we go. Plug is good. Yeah, Puppet Master. Yeah, I like Plug. MRTX this morning by Joshua. MRTX. Let's take a look here. MRTX. Oh, no. Guys. I mean, this one here.
$5 spread.
Yeah, I didn't even see that yet. I'm just looking at the chart. You're right. $5 spread. My, oh my. No, this is a no. Look at the action. I mean, you're down 10%. You've got no volume. And you got a $5 spread. So
yeah.
You must have only looked at this right here, right? And I respect it. Yes, you looked at this, you probably thought it was something good. Once you look under the hood here, it is just not something you want to be part of.
Yeah, no, run.
Yeah. Let's run quickly to Corey with Plug. Oh yeah, Plug. We got Plug, Corey. Thank you for that one. AMC here from Sunny. What is AMC up to? We've been so busy with other stuff that we haven't really looked at AMC, but it hasn't done anything based on this daily. And this morning, I don't see anything great. It is up 1.5, 537, but we know AMC needs a lot more than that to be attractive. So they're not looking too hot this morning. We'll skip on them right now. CRTX. Did we just look at that? I believe we did. CRTX. No, we looked at MRTX. Are these two guys brothers, cousins, whatever? Because this one looks pretty bad as well. They're not looking good. Huge drop here. I remember this from this big drop, and it's just not much going on here. Let's move on to QS. So thank you, Wayne, but that doesn't look good for what we're looking to trade this morning. QS, big day on Friday, possible continuation today. You got some volume on here. QS, what is this company and what is her flow? QuantumScape Corporation. Not sure what that is, but 192 million. Yeah, possible continuation, guys. I do like the fact that they had a big day Friday and they're above this previous day close. Like, that's a good sign for a continuation. I don't know about this one. I mean, I never looked at this before. We'll put it as a possible. We'll see if it can get any better. It is sitting borderline on the stuff that I usually do not like to trade. CHPT.
Batteries, D-Miles.
What was that?
I think it's
batteries,
car batteries. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that as numbers are being reported, yeah, that makes sense for them to be moving here. CHPT. This is a charge station, right? I remember they made a lot of noise.
Yeah, charge point. Yes.
Yeah. So they made some noise back in the days when EVs were going nuts. They could possibly be in play. I could see it with, again, EV reporting. I don't see anything great on this specific ticker right now, but that could change depending on these. As you said, Norm, these numbers are going to be reported now for the first of the month. So we'll see how that plays out. But for the most part, I don't see anything overly exciting on this one. All right, cool. Guys, let's stop here. I think we have a decent list. Some of this stuff is going to of course, hop off of this, but we got a decent list so far. And I'm sure, as we always mention, it can progress into the pre-market to get a little bit better. So, all right, anything else? I'm gonna look at NVIDIA because a lot of you guys are throwing it out there, and I think we didn't look at it. NVIDIA, yeah, that could be interesting too. That could be interesting. And we'll stop here. All right, guys, let's go over to community announcements. Hit that thumbs up over on YouTube if you haven't done so already. It does help us out a whole lot. I mean, we have 61 likes. I mean, I feel like we're not doing too good here. What's going on? We might need to cancel this show. What's happening? 61 likes. Let me refresh this. Am I getting wrong data?
No, we're right at 100.
Right at 100. All right, so we're looking a little better. Still bad, a little better, but still bad. All right, guys, we love to be around 290, right? That would be great if we can get to this morning. We appreciate it very, very much. Let's get to our community announcements today, and we'll come back and fine-tune this list.
Oh man, I've been waiting for this all weekend. All right, guys. Today, swing trade alert with Brian, 2:30 p.m. Then you've got the onboarding classes every Monday night live, 8 p.m. with Carlos doing the onboarding, and then immediately followed by Kyle's tech class. Then trade reviews with Eamon at noon. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, success webinar, 8 p.m. Tuesdays. Psychology is on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Mentoring is on Thursday, 11 for Andrew, 8 p.m. with Thor. And crypto with Jared at 11 a.m. On Friday. Peter, thank you. We're going to get to that. You just did a very important thing. All right. Tomorrow night, you've got Kyle's webinar on Important Metrics Journal. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then next week, you've got Mike doing how to find your trading strategy to meet your trading goals. That'll be at 8 p.m. next Friday. Or next Tuesday. My God. Sorry, guys. I'm dragging. Yeah, I imagine many of you with children are that had them out trick-or-treating and such yesterday. All right. And then Wednesday, 8 p.m. for psychology, we've got Dr. Kenneth Reed doing basic market dynamics. And then next week, our wonderful Creta, 5 p.m. Note the special time because she's in Europe for her to better fit her time zone. She'll be doing her money mindset series, building a $1 million mindset. All right, guys. New charity for the month. It is Vegan Awareness Month. So in honor of all our vegan friends, such as Megan, our famous and wonderful trader, and also vegan chef, all those are going to be going to a Butcher Box subscription for Megan and whatever other vegans we have in the room. There she is. So I can't even imagine what hate mail I'm going to get, but if I'm not here tomorrow, you know why. Love you, Megan. No vegans were harmed in the production of this slide either. So anyway. All right. The real charity for the month is Fisher Center for Alzheimer's Research. So Peter, that will be going to them. Megan, take care. You're awesome. She wasn't even going to be on today because I guess she's moving or something, but I asked her permission to be able to do that and she granted it, and we chatted on Friday. She was moving today, so best of luck with your move, and hope to see you back trading. I mess with them. I don't mess with people if I don't like them. And Megan is a fantastic trader. She's been a member for a long time. She's an awesome person. So thank you very much for allowing us to have some fun. Anyway, autism, very near and dear to me. So anyway. So I got to share this comment, and I don't know if you can share something that's a non-sticker, but Key Bump over here, which is an interesting nickname on YouTube, says, was going to say, what dumbass made Vegan Month the same month as Thanksgiving? That is an interesting observation. Anyway, so yeah, all those will be going to Alzheimer's research. Next. All right, I've spent enough time there. Twitter, if you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. Add as much commentary as you can. Post it on Twitter. Tag at Bearable Traders at MikeB_BBT and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon on Twitter and in the room. And then all those trades of the day are eligible for trade of the week, which is voted on by the team over the weekend and announced on Monday. All right. So if you are watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you can use the promo code Premarket24 on the intro membership. If you go to the homepage, scroll down, go to that test drive, it's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. It only bills you once. You will not be billed again. It cancels after that. And if you'd like to continue being a member, you can go choose to do so. If you'd like to become an elite annual member, you can use the promo code FALL40. This is the last day we'll be talking about that. And yeah. Kreda, good morning. How are you?
Hi, Norm. I'm good, thanks. You gave me a little
I'm-
laugh there. I like your little
well,
joke.
good. Well, good. Thank you. I'm telling you, I'm so tired from taking my son out trick or treating last night that I feel like I could just fall over. So, a great topic for this month that you've let us know we're going to be focusing on is resilience. I don't know that I'm going to fall into that category today, that I can be very resilient, but I'll let you take it away starting this month talking about it.
Perfect, thanks. So so last month we were talking about pressure. This month we're talking about resilience, and specifically how we can actually use practical techniques to build it. So today I'm just going to introduce the topic, give people a bit of a sense of what resilience is, what we're talking about, what the research says, and also we're going to talk about the stories that you tell yourself and how they can impact your trading. So to start off, when we're talking about resilience, we just mean the ability to bounce back quickly and effectively from adversity. And so in a trading context, what we mean by resilience is being able to really reset back to neutral after you've taken a trade that's gone against you, or sometimes for some people it's actually when they've made money on a trade, they find it hard to reset to neutral for the next one. So they would be examples of where you might need resilience, but also obviously as mistakes or errors escalate and you get into maybe a bad trading day, a red day, a run of red days, or possibly blowing up your account, you're going to need resilience in spades. And so it's a good topic to focus on because it's very applicable within trading. And to me, I would actually say that it's one of the key psychological skills that you need to have if you want to be successful in the long run with trading. It's that important because it's not necessarily the fact that you make mistakes that will determine your success. It's how you recover from them. And so I just want to explain what the research says about resilience as well, because it's really interesting. So they did a lot of research around this. So Martin Seligman, if anyone's interested in this, is the kind of person who champions all of this resilience research. And they found that people respond to adversity in different ways, and it kind of follows the normal curve of distribution. So some people, when they experience an adverse event, and this could be a really significant trauma or something smaller, they experience a state where they crumble. So if it's a really significant trauma, maybe they're experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder or depression. If it's a lesser trauma, then they're just kind of crumbling under it and they don't recover that well. Some people then in the middle will experience the trauma or the adverse event and they'll be impacted for a while, so like maybe a month if it's something significant, and then they recover back to neutral, to where they were at before. But really interesting, some people actually experience post-traumatic growth. So people go through an adverse event and they come out stronger than they were before they ever met the event. And there's research to show that this happened people in relation to September 11th. So some people who experienced that as a really significant trauma actually developed skills and a different outlook on life and ended up being stronger as a result of it. And the research shows this. So how is this relevant to trading? Well, it means that there's actually a way that can grow from your mistakes. And the research that looked into this said that people who have a more optimistic mindset tend to be those people who experience post-traumatic growth. So if we boil it down, the idea is that you can actually train to become more resilient and to grow from your mistakes and errors and bad red days, runs of red days. You can train to become stronger as a result of those. And the key is in training your mindset, and also so adopting a really effective lens on the world, and also training psychological skills to help you to become better at recovering from mistakes and adversity. And so the US military actually have heavily invested in this. So they've been running a resilience program within the Army for quite a number of years now. And I think the original investment was something around $145 million. So they really heavily invested in training the troops how to build resilience so that they could obviously recover from trauma that's part of the job. So what can we learn from this? We know that we can use practical techniques to improve the ability to reset after trade goes against you, after you've had a red day or a run of red days, or you've blown up your account. And I'm just going to focus for 2 minutes today on one way that you can do this. And for the rest of November, we'll talk about different ways you can approach this. But what I want to speak about today is the idea of the stories that we tell ourselves and how they can determine how we recover or don't recover after a mistake. And so it's a really common thing that people experience some sort of mistake, error, or adverse event. And then it's not the experiencing of it that's the problem. It's how they interpret that. So the story they tell themselves about that event, that's what will actually determine how long or how significantly that event impacts them afterwards. And there were studies done that talk about learned helplessness. So this idea that they did it on people and they did it on animals and exposed them to sound that was really irritating, really high-pitched sound. And in some of the conditions, the people or animals couldn't turn the sound off. And then they changed the conditions so that people actually could turn the sound off. But because they had become so used to not being able to do it, they didn't even try. So the idea is that in these conditions, these people developed the sense that they had no control over the adverse event. So they stopped even trying to control it. They just accepted their fate. And so that's a lens that they chose to look through the world at. And people can apply this in their trading. So let's say you have a trade go against you, and then you take the perspective or the lens, or you tell yourself the story that I've no control over this. I always do it. I always deviate from my rules. And, that means that this is going to be a really bad day. It's going to be a red day. I'm never going to make it as a trader. That's a story that you tell yourself in relation to an adverse event. So trade going against you. And so the idea here is that we can actually shift the stories we tell ourselves in order to recover quickly and more effectively from a mistake. And how do you do that? So the first step is to catch yourself telling yourself the story. So try and disrupt that automatic process. And then when you've caught yourself and you have an idea of what the story is, so in this case, this is going to be a really bad day because the first trade went against me and I'm never going to make it as a trader. Then explore what the exact opposite of that would be. So the most optimistic version of that story. And so that could be something like, every next trade that I take today is going to be green. It's going to be a brilliant day. And then go back to the most logical, realistic middle story. So it could be, okay, a trade's gone against me. It's not the end of the world. I just need to stick better to my trading rules for the next one. Let me focus on my process. And so if you can catch yourself telling yourself those stories, you can choose a much more effective and appropriate action for your next trade or your next trading day. And you can stop yourself from adopting that lens that is actually going to create the results that you don't want to happen. So just one way of addressing resilience and building resilience in your trading and recovering more effectively from mistakes.
Fantastic info, Creda. I agree. One of the most important aspects of traders' personality is their resilience. So much appreciated. And if you want to go back, guys, and listen to this, we will have Creda. We've started a playlist that has all these on there that you can go back and look at them if you want to dig in again and listen again. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Norm.
Have a great day. Bye.
So, all right, thank you so much, Creda. Guys, give a thumbs up over to YouTube for Creda and that amazing message there. So,
Yes. Absolutely.
My camera went dark. I'm not sure why, but we will figure that out later. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's see what we have on our list here, starting with OCGN. Tons of volume this morning, 3.2. They are up 6.4 right now, so looking good as far as numbers. We know this can trade very well. It has the last couple of days had some amazing pops here, so we'll definitely keep that on deck. Ion Q so far also great on the daily, 6.8, 808,000 right now. I think this is more of a possible. We'll leave it here for now. Lucid, I do like. This has been very explosive over the last week or so. Last week we saw some great movements out of this one, some good intraday trades as well. So definitely want to keep this one on deck. The volume is great. The pre-market action right now looking real nice this morning, so that is good. XBEV, that's okay. Neo's got some good volume here this morning, so let's make some room here. I'm gonna bring XBEV down. We'll bring this one down this morning. I'm gonna keep Neo. I like the volume there. I'm not saying that XBEV is not great, but I think this one could be more of a possible this morning. So going to keep that one as a possible. We do have Neo here. We'll keep an eye on that one. Here's Plug, guys, looking good as well on the daily. Very strong right now, up 4.1, 947,000. Apple, Apple. Look at Apple here, guys. We're getting a nice little move just now towards the downside, so that's going to be good, seeing which way we're going to break. Again, we kind of had some interesting action. Here's the pre-earnings action, then post-earnings action, and now we're pretty much back to a flat area of around 150. So getting a little bit of a drop there. That looks exciting. We'll keep that on there. Here's Tesla, also looking very good. Yeah, we need to break this down a little more. We have way too many. So OCGN, we'll keep that one. IonQ, I think this one is more of a possible. I think it could be a hit or miss. We saw a couple of great days last week. But for the most part, they're not the best trading stocks. So I'm going to move them down. I like OCGN here this morning. Lucid looks good, also dropping a little bit here. Neo, very, very active this morning as well, 3.5 million. That's great volume for Neo. Let's hope that volume is going to trade in one direction when it comes in at the open as well, right? Right now, we're pretty much flat after some movement very early on this morning. We're pretty much flat. Let's see if that can pick a direction here. We're down 3.6. We'll keep that one on there. Plug is good, very strong. Apple is good, and Tesla. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's perfect. Let's take a look at our secondary list. We got to make this a lot smaller here this morning. Nvidia dropping down nicely. QS. I'm on the fence on QS. Big day on Friday. I'm gonna remove it from here. Let's get rid of that one. AMD could be interesting. BKKT this morning. I just know I'm not going to trade this. I find this stock to be interesting, but slightly difficult. So I know I'm not going to trade this. I'm going to remove it just from my end. Be Big is another one that's just starting to look very messy right now. We did have a nice little start here at 8:30, and now it's just getting a little bit messy. So I'm going to remove this one as well. Their daily does look interesting. I'm not completely blind to that. I can see there's a nice little possible breakout out of this area, 550 or so. But yeah, I'm going to remove it. I think we got some pretty good stuff in our main list this morning. NVAX today, again, some great moves here, guys. Just a slightly difficult to trade this stock. The price action could be funky. The spread, make sure you take a look at the spread. At times, it can be more on the wider side, even for a $160 stock, right? So still be mindful of that. On this morning, XPEV is good, and IonQ. All right, I think that's an okay list. I think we can fine tune it a little bit more, but let's jump into our main list and focus on levels here this morning. OCGN looking good, guys. Very active right now, 3.2 million. Let's get some levels in here. High of the pre-market, 13.15, which is right at the most recent high over here, going back a couple of days. Low of the pre-market looking at 12.27. We'll slam a level there, so that's pretty good for right now for OCGN. You do have a level here in the pre-market action. It's going to be 1280-ish, 1279. I'm going to mark that down. You got a great area of resistance. You can see how many touches you have on this thing here. Great area of support as well. So you definitely want to have that marked down for OCGN. Towards the bottom, guys, plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Heading over to the left, do we have anything above here? Above 13? Yeah, we do. Right over here. Hop into this area. Looks like 1369 could be a good one. We'll do that one. Got a couple of touches on here, at least 3 days, opening, closing, right around that area. That looks good for OCGN this morning. Let's take a look at Lucid today. We have a 9.7 million shares traded so far. So again, great volume. We had an insane day on Thursday, a little bit of continuation on Friday, and today we can hopefully see that that action again. So here we have low of the pre-market exactly right at 38, slamming a level there above that 46 high of the pre-market, and you're pretty much set, guys. Look at this range here. You're stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, previous day close. You are pretty much good there. Pre-market action this morning looking very good, as you can see here, very active so far. So that's looking pretty nice. Here is NEO this morning. NEO is again very active as far as volume, pretty much flat right now. So hopefully that can start moving in some kind of direction at the market open. Doesn't need to do it now, but hopefully at the market open, we just don't get pure chop on this. 37.01 is the low of the pre-market for us this morning. The price action right now sitting at a level of some support happening right on there. So I'm going to mark it down at 38. You can see here clearly, got a lot of touches on this, right? A lot of touches on this here. We are using Dash Trader Pro. If you're asking for this platform, this is Dash Trader Pro. This is the platform we use. So if you need that info, there it is. So above that, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, a lot of levels up here. NEO is good. What I like about NEO this morning is the 3.5 million shares traded. That is great volume for NEO. And as I mentioned before, we need hopefully at the market open to get some type of direction. Right at the bell, guys, it could be wild. So be very careful. This thing could be a little bit choppy. We might need to wait 15, 20 minutes for NEO to settle down and pick a direction. But hopefully that's going to be a go for us today. Here is Plug this morning. We are looking at a nice little run over the last couple of weeks, really. Started down here around 25, got to 34, kind of struggled here the last week or so. We've been breaking out nicely, guys. Beautiful daily here on the Plug. I forgot they had some kind of catalyst. I forgot what it was, but I know they had a positive catalyst. Was it you know what, I'm not even gonna guess. I can't remember, but it was a good catalyst, and obviously that is playing nice in the last couple of days. High of the pre-market 40.50. Towards the bottom, we do have the low of the pre-market slamming down at 38.80. So that is good. Highs and lows towards the bottom there. So you do not need to add anything more towards the bottom. You're pretty much set. And then I like this level on the price action right now, though. So I am going to mark this down. This 39.86. That's a good level. You got a couple of touches there in the pre-market already. So I think you should have that down as well. It's a big range, guys. 40.50 to 38.80. Having a level here makes perfect sense. 39.85-ish or so. All right, looking to the left. What do we have above this? Looking to the left here on the daily. Let's take a look here. Let's head to the left. What do we have? Okay, here around February, March, even a little bit of April, we have some stuff here on the daily. This is a good one right on there. 43.37 is good. And up here, I'm just going to get to 48.41. Great levels right there on the daily, guys. That is all you really need for Plug. Outside of that, looking very good. Yeah, you're all set on Plug. Here is Apple, 5.8 million shares traded. We had a little drop just a few minutes ago. That is causing some turbulence here, a little bit of some action. So that is good on Apple this morning. Low of the pre-market sitting at 149.25, and your high of your pre-market all the way up at 150.15. So pretty nice range there. Let's see, we need a breakout. We're pretty much flat, just kind of right under this area of good resistance that we had over the last couple of days. We'll see. Today's going to be interesting. See where this thing is going to go today. We got the volume. We got great volume, by the way, 5.8. That's a whole lot of volume there. Just like NEO, we need Apple to hopefully pick a direction of here at the market open. Tesla, guys, just insane. I think you're all set on Tesla. You have your all-time highs here as 1158.60. Good pre-market action right now. Amazing volume. What is the SPY doing? I feel like the volume is just like really high this morning for a lot of these tickers. Again, the SPY hitting all-time highs this morning. We are sitting at 461.42. A little bit of a drop now, and it might be a lot of the stocks are just following this, right? We see some stocks like Apple doing this drop here and now doing a little bit of a bounce, but the volume overall on these tickers is extremely high this morning. So that's pretty nice. Let's see if that's going to turn into some good trading. Going back to Tesla, guys, you're all set. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You have your all-time highs here. You're getting this level here might be interesting, 1138. I'm going to slam that there just to have something in between here. You got some support very early on, a little bit of resistance happening this morning. We'll see where that's going to go. All right, guys, Andrew is firing up his station here, so we'll be good to go. Quick watch list. I'm just going to show you this. Actually, you know what? This is what we'll do. I'll hand it over to Andrew because he's ready to go. YouTube, stick around. I'll read out whatever the moderators are watching for you guys, but I'll hand over the chat room for our members over to Andrew so he can get going. So let me go ahead, guys. Over in the chat room, I'll see you in a bit. YouTube, stick around. I'll hop in with you guys to go over what the moderators are watching. All right, so we'll disconnect from chat. We'll let Andrew take over there, and I will continue with you guys here. Let me go ahead and just make sure I mute this so we don't get any type of echoes. There we go. All right, so over on YouTube, I'm going to bring our moderators list over so you guys can see that. And actually, you guys can see all of this over here. Let's see, is my camera working? I think it is. Let's bring this over here so you guys can see this. You guys are able to see this. Let me do this right here. Okay, so here we go. Here's our chat room. Andrew's getting fired up and ready to go there. Here we go a little bit cleaner. So he's getting ready to fire up and go there. That is his live platform there. If you have not seen it before, we'll move this camera out of the way. Here is our moderators lineup this morning. We have John looking at Tesla, Nvidia, and Netflix. We have Tiffany looking at Tesla, LSIT, and Nvidia. Thor looking at Neo, Lucid, Apple, Plug, and X on his list. Peter, IPOs for today, none. SPACs, VSACU, his watch list, AMD, Apple, Lucid, Tesla, Neo, and OCGN this morning. So that's good there. Tesla for Andrew, Lucid, Plug, Neo, OCGN, BKKT, F, XBEV, and then Brian is looking at ABVC, MTTR, Perry, Lucid, and LAC on his list. Dima watch list is Apple, Plug, XBEV. Jerry is looking at Lucid, Tesla, Neo, Plug, and secondary list BBIG and Space and XBEV this morning. So that is what we have for this morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market prep this morning. Just make sure I don't miss anything else. Let's get this out of the way. And I think we're all set, guys. Any questions before I let you guys go over on YouTube? I know people are asking for our platform. Our platform is Dash Trader Pro. That is what we use. And we are going to be going live with Brian and Andrew in our chat. Mike Beach has sent over his watch list, and he is looking at NVIDIA and Apple this morning for Mike. So, all right, I think we're all set, guys, over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel a whole lot, and we appreciate that very, very much. And we noticed some ads went on in the middle of the live segment. We're going to turn that off because that is very annoying. We don't know how that got turned on, but we're going to turn that off. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I noticed it on my end. And I was like, what is happening? So if you did notice that, trust me, that'll be turned off by tomorrow. We don't want that there at all. All right. So my list, what are we trading today? OCGN, Lucid, Neo, Plug, Apple, and Tesla. That is my list right on there, guys. Looks very good this morning. That is what I'm going to be focusing on, especially these high volumes we're getting today. I mean, guys, 3.4, 10 million on Lucid, 3.9 on Plug, which is nice. I mean, it's not even, it's only 920 and we're having amazing volume. Plug looks good, getting a little bit of a drop here. Apple with 5.8. I can't remember what's the last time we saw Apple with 5.8 million shares traded. Tesla with almost 2 million. This pre-market action is very, 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 very exciting. Just a reminder before I let you guys go. Some of the stuff could be choppy because just the sheer amount of volume you're getting in the pre-market now and at the market open, it just might be all over the place. So just be mindful of that and just be aware that you might need to wait a couple of minutes for things to settle down a little bit and pick a direction. Guys, thank you so much over on YouTube for joining us this morning. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. It helps us out a whole lot. If you're first time here, consider subscribing. We are live Monday through Friday at 8:30 and then Monday through Thursday with Engineering DeMarcus Jarrett at 8 a.m. In the morning. So take care, guys, and trade safe. See you guys tomorrow.